Cheesy the Podcast, presented by Just Cheesy Productions.
Hi there, I'm your host, Fondue. In this week's episode, we're going to put on our tinfoil hats and talk a little bit about cheese conspiracy theories. We're going to talk a little bit about the moon. We're going to discuss COVID. There's a guy named Chuck with the last name Cheese we might discuss. We're going to talk about a cheese theme park. Some cheese makeup. And we're going to tell a very cheesy joke.
Oh yeah, funny joke.
Stay tuned for episode 2, season 2 of Just Cheesy, the podcast. Today I found out that the moon is made of cheese.
What? No, I don't think so.
According to philosophyofscienceportal.blogspot.com,
Okay.
this theory of the moon and cheese goes back pretty far.
How far?
Well, there's a Servian tale where a fox leads a wolf to believe that the moon reflection in the water is cheese, and then the wolf bursts in an attempt to drink up the water and get at the cheese.
Interesting.
Wikipedia states that this is part of comparative mythology.
Really?
So there are diverse countries that actually have a similar tale where a simpleton sees a reflection of the moon and mistakes it for round cheese. There are Zulu tales, Gascon tales, Turkish tales, Scottish tales.
Holy cow.
There's lots of different tales of reflections of the moon and cheese.
Who knew?
The moon is made of green cheese theory became popular in the 1500s.
Wow.
According to todayifoundout.com, the English writer John Haywood first used it in the Proverbs of John Haywood, written in 1546. I'd read you the proverb, but it's in old-timey English.
No, that's okay.
It essentially refers to something idiotic, and only people that are truly gullible would believe it.
Okay.
According to Eater.com, Haywood is known for sayings like, "Look before you leap, many hands make light work. I know which side my bread is buttered." There's another statement of it that can be found in 1565 Shacklock's Hatched of Heresies.
Okay.
There's a reference in John Wilkins' New World Book 1 in 1638.
Wow.
And at this point, it's very clear that the expression was very common.
Of course.
In 1902, the American Journal of Psychology surveyed young children.
Really?
And the most common belief of what the moon was made of was cheese. But they also thought it was made of rags, God, and yellow paper.
Oh my.
Or dead people who join hands in a circle of light.
Holy cow.
NASA had some fun with it in 2002.
Really?
They had an April Fool's Day prank.
Really?
According to CNET.com, they announced that the Hubble telescope had been able to confirm the moon's expiration date,
What?
which was, of course, inscribed on the lunar surface.
Oh boy.
They decided to have fun again in 2019 in honor of National #Moldy Cheese Day,
Ew.
where they point out on Twitter that the moon is actually not made of cheese.
I don't know. I've never been there.
And that's exactly how conspiracies get started. According to worldcrunch.com, in April of 2020, article called "From French Cheese to Cow Urine,
Cow
a
urine?
Roundup of Fake COVID-19 Remedies."
Oh boy.
According to this article, there was a Facebook post that had been circulating about Roquefort cheese.
Nice.
It said the mold that was used to make the French blue cheese was used by French guy, Didier Raoult.
Wow.
And supposedly it was tested by a French physician to fight coronavirus.
Awesome.
The original poster admitted that it was false,
Aw.
but that he wanted to add some humor at this difficult time and promote Roquefort cheese.
Yeah.
And on a side note, it also talks about cow urine.
Ew.
In India, a group of Hindu activists organized what they're calling a cow urine drinking party
Nope.
in an attempt to ward off the virus. It is believed by some that the animal's urine has medicinal properties.
No. No.
There's another article in womenshealthnetwork.com, and it talks about vitamin K for COVID-19. In the article, they suggest that vitamin K plays an important role in lung function.
Nice.
And they also say that vitamin K can be gotten through your diet in things like organic lean meats,
Cheese.
organic eggs,
Cheese.
and hard or soft cheeses, especially blue cheese.
Cheese.
And frankly, I'm on board with any medical recommendation that includes blue cheese.
Me too.
Blue cheese, not a sponsor, but if they were, their ad would go right here. It's time for my favorite segment.
This week in cheese.
So it was actually a few weeks ago, but according to a website called KenoshaNews.com, initially there was a story by Wisconsin News Today. They said there was going to be a roller coaster theme park in August for the store called Mars Cheese Castle.
Ooh, fun.
It said here that it would have helped the Cheese Emporium compete with Six Flags Great America.
Whoa.
It would have had a giant curd drop, a cheese wheel carousel,
Ooh.
and the Cheesy River.
Cheesy River.
Of course, it's unfortunately not true.
Aww.
But some of the workers actually came up with a couple of others. They had the Gouda go-karts,
Gouda go-karts.
and plunge into nacho cheese.
Nacho cheese.
We haven't done this segment, Not Cheese, in a while.
Nope.
And I think that the amusement parks are a great lead-in.
Really? Why?
Well, let's talk a little bit about a certain fella called Chuck E. Cheese.
Yay.
In the last couple of years, they've been embroiled in an internet conspiracy.
Ooh, what is it about?
Pizza slices.
What?
Pizza slices.
Okay.
There's a YouTube personality named Shane Dawson, and he made a video that claimed that he visited Chuck E. Cheese's, he ordered 2 pizzas, and they both came out with mismatched edges.
Okay.
And he said that it appeared to be 2 different pizzas sliced in half and pushed together to resemble a whole pie.
Ooh.
It seems he was trying to imply that Chuck E. Cheese reuses their pizza.
Ew.
There are several different people that have come out since to say that absolutely not. They hand cut all of the pizzas. They do it fast because they have about 5 more coming out right behind it.
Right.
They also said it might look a little bit off because it could be a new person learning.
Okay.
And a lot of times they might appear shorter because the first slice gets, as they say here, quote, squished into the center when the employee is cutting.
Squish.
And this information came from an article in Eater.com that says Chuck E. Cheese's swears it isn't recycling pizza slices.
Right.
Chuck E. Cheese has been around since 1977.
Wow.
It was originally called Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater, and it was founded by Atari founder Nolan Bushnell.
Really?
He wanted to expand video game arcades into family-friendly venues. He said he chose pizza because of the wait time and had said there are very few components and not too many ways to screw it up.
Unless you cut mismatched pieces.
Stop it. In 1980, they expanded into Australia under the name Charlie Cheese's Pizza Playhouse. And it had to be changed to Charlie because in Australia, the word Chuck is a reference to throwing up. As of 2020, Chuck E. Cheese operates 612 corporate and franchise stores.
Holy cow.
This last story really isn't a conspiracy theory, but a scam.
Ooh.
In 2015, there was an article in BusinessInsider.com, and it talked about a 74-year-old woman who was standing trial for allegedly orchestrating a $15 million, quote, magic cheese scam.
Magic cheese?
The lady ran a company called Firmex Chili.
Okay.
It had people invest in kits for about $394. They contained filters, a powder that would ferment milk and produce a special cheese. And it promised that people would make huge profits selling their cheese back to French cosmetic companies that used it in luxury beauty products.
Seriously?
The scam made about $15 million, and it convinced over 5,000 Chileans to invest. And it even had about 20 branches around the country.
Wow.
She told customers she was working with places like L'Oreal to buy the cheese and use it in whitening creams and work with people like Michael Jackson.
Oh, boy.
The cheese never left the country, and it was found rotting in a warehouse.
Aw. It's time for a joke, Fondue.
How do you know when a cheese has been lying?
I don't know.
Because it tells you stories that are too Gouda to be true. Get it? Too Gouda.
Ooh, that's silly.
Not silly, but a little bit cheesy. Thanks for listening to episode number 2 in season 2. We really appreciate your support.
you.
Join us next week for part 2 of Conspiracy Theories.
Cheesy, everybody.